Hello YouTube. This goes out to anybody that could help me fix this issue that I'm currently having with my Eachine quadcopter, which is the GPS quadcopter that I just recently purchased from Banggood. Now I've only just had it a week. It originally came with a different receiver. It was the R9MM OTA receiver, but I discovered that that receiver is not compatible with the Radiomaster TX16S. So what I decided to do was to get the TBS Crossfire module, thinking that this will work much better than the R9MM OTA, because that's only really compatible for the FrSky radios. So anyway, just so I can jump to the problem that I'm having now, the issue is this. When I connect, I've got the receiver bound to it, right? So the receiver's working fine. It's connected. I managed to get it all connected up to where it should go on the controller board, on the flight controller. So I've wired it up accordingly to the mini receiver that came with the Crossfire, and the issue that I'm having is not the receiver. The receiver is working fine with the quadcopter. However, when I go into Betaflight and I try and set up the GPS settings to the quadcopter, the motors don't spin. The motors won't spin at all. However, if I don't enable those features in Betaflight, which I'm going to show you in a minute, the motors will spin normally. So there's kind of a conflict going on there, and I'm not sure what's causing this problem. I've gone through everything that I can think of. I've even tried different receivers. I even tried a FrSky XM Plus receiver. There was another FrSky receiver. Anyway, I tried several different receivers, and they all had the same issue. So I've now realized that the problem is not within the receiver. It's something within the controller that's talking to the motors and not enabling the motors once I activate the GPS features of the quad through Betaflight. So I'll just show you now basically what's going on. Right now, the motors should be spinning like normal. So at the moment, you can see that I've got one battery already in there. So it's a 2600 milliamp. Now I do have a 3000 milliamp battery, and it doesn't matter whether I'm using 3000 or the 2600. I'm getting the same results with either battery. So it's really not the battery. And regardless, there should still be enough power for these batteries to at least make the motor spin, because you might not get enough flight time, but it should still work, right? Theoretically. So anyway, and plus I think on the specs it says, anything up from 26 milliamps up to 3000 will work with this quadcopter, with the exception of the 3000 being a bigger milliamp battery, which means that you'll obviously get a bit more flight time out of it. So anyway, regardless, so I'm just going to demonstrate what's going on. So I'm just going to install the batteries, make sure they're in the right way, so forth and so forth. Actually, I should turn the radio on first. So we're going to turn the radio on now.
Welcome to OpenTN.
So we've got the open warning. Okay, everything. Now all my switches are switched down. I've set my top left switch as the arm switch, the SB switch, which is the air mode, and also the air mode, and also horizon mode, just in case I want to fly horizon. But anyway, that's the switches for that. Now over here, the SH button, this is my beeper. And over here on the the SE button, I've set this up as the GPS Failsafe switch. So when you flick that switch, the quadcopter should turn around and come back to you. So, all right, anyway, so all the switches are down as normal. So now I'm just about to plug the battery in. So the radio's on. battery going in. Okay, so we got armed. Everything is going as normal, right? Okay, so now if I flick the arm switch, the motor should start spinning, which it is. And you can see, you can hear it, you can see it spinning, right? And when I flick the switch off, the motors turn off. Again, when I flick it up, we've got throttle and so forth. Now, the other thing that I did notice as well too is that obviously when you flick the arm switch, you can see the LEDs, the little light there flicker, and you can see it flicker there. Hang on. You can see it change color and it flickers to tell you that it's arming. Perfect. And same when I flick the mode switch as well too. Now nothing's happening with the GPS return switch, but the beeper, that's working fine. So I got the beeper there for the lost and find beeper, whatever it's called. So anyway, that's working. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you onto Betaflight and I'm going to plug this all up and I'm going to enable those GPS settings on the quadcopter, on this quadcopter, and show you exactly what I'm doing step by step so you get an idea what is actually going on, and then disconnect it, plug it in, switch it on, and show you exactly after I've put it through Betaflight with the GPS settings what is actually happening. Okay, so I'll be with you shortly. Here we go. Right, so now I've just opened up Betaflight. I've got my quadcopter here ready to be plugged in. I've got my batteries taken out. So I'm going to put the batteries to one side just for the moment. I've got my radio off to one side for now. And we'll turn that on in a sec just to show you that the receiver is working. So for now, the step will be, I'll just take the cable and plug that in. Here we go, like so. Right, so now I'm going to plug in the cable into the little port there. Okay, so now everything is switched on. Okay, everything is switched on there. Perfect. So now I'm just going to put that to one side just for a second. Now I'm going to zoom up a little bit so you can actually see what I'm actually doing here now. Let's just do this. Right. Okay, so now what I will do now is I'll go into connect. So I've connected and everything. Here I am. Now just to show you what I've got, first of all, I've got the port set up. As you can see, I have the USB VCP that's set to, which is the default. This was the default as well too for the serial RX. That was the default there. On this side over here is the GPS, so that's enabled. And on this side here on the peripherals is the VTX IRC tramp. So again, that was stock part of the quad when I got it. So I haven't really touched any of those settings. So I've left everything the way it is. Now, if I just go into configuration, you can see that everything's pretty stock there. Yeah, we got the D-shot there, 600, motors in the direction is reversed. I've got the arming at 180. The system configuration, again, these are all stock settings over here. The only thing I really changed was the receiver, because I changed it from S-Bus to CRSF, which is for the crossfire. So that's now enabled there. And I've also got the GPS settings here. That's all switched on. Perfect. Now, battery is normal, so there's nothing needs to be changed there. I'll just go into receiver. First of all, I will turn my radio on. There we go, radio's coming on. So that is now on. So now if I move the sticks, there we go, I move the sticks, everything seems to be working. Throttle up, left and right, roll, pitch, yaw, and so forth. The other thing is the switches. So there's my arm switch. aux2 is my mode switch. aux4 is my GPS mode switch. And last but not least, the third one, which is my beeper. Now, so we know that all works, right? So now if I go into modes, this is what I've got set up at the moment. I've got arm, so your arm is working. Your angle is working as well too, so that's angle. Your horizon is working, and of course your beeper is working. So that's all working. Right, now if I just turn off hide there and I add the GPS rescue range, I've got it on auto, so I'm going to flick my aux4 switch, which is now which was the SE switch, and now you can see that's now working, right? So that's working there. So that's on. So I'm going to hit save for that. That's done. Now I'm going to go into Failsafe, right? So Failsafe, at the moment it's set to drop, but I want to put it to GPS rescue so it notes to come back in case anything goes wrong. So I'm going to hit save for that as well too. Done. So now that's just refreshing there. I'm going to hit connect like so. Not sure why that comes up on the screen. It's the firmware, I think I might need to update the firmware. But anyway, besides the point, that's now working. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll just quit it, and then I'll just reload it again, just in case. There we go. So I'll connect, and there you go. So we're back to normal now. So now I've actually calibrated that, so that's all fine. So I've done that before. So just to go back and show you that the receiver is working, the switches are working, the auxiliary switches that I've set up are working, so forth. We go back to modes, and we can hit hide now because we don't need all those settings there. So now, as you can see, I've got arm, angle, horizon, GPS rescue, and beeper. So everything is working as per normal. So the only thing I noticed is that the GPS rescue, nothing lights up. No, it doesn't actually change color as opposed to the other ones. So for example, you got the beeper there, that lights up the angle and horizon, but I don't know why that doesn't light up. And again, I don't know whether that's the problem. So anyway, moving on back to, where are we? Back to enable Failsafe. So just to show you that I have set it up to GPS rescue, all the settings are there, haven't really touched anything on those settings, and done. And just to be safe, I'll just hit save and reboot. Right, so now it's disconnected. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and show you now what's actually going to happen with the quadcopter. I'll just move the camera over. I'll tilt you down a smidge. So here we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the quadcopter. I'll leave the radio on. Okay, I can leave the radio on. Now I'll just put the telemetry lost. Okay, I'm going to put the batteries in as per. So there we go there. And there we go here. Right, so now it's turning on. So now the receiver's on. As you can see, it's connected to the radio. Now, this is the problem that I'm having. Now, I'm just going to come back here a bit. I'll move the laptop out of the road, bring the radio up, and show you exactly what is happening now. Right, so right now I have added those features, those GPS features to this quad. Now, as you can see, the light is on for the GPS. The blue light is working. All the lights are on. Now, here's the funny bit. Now I'm going to arm the quadcopter using the arming switch and watch what happens. Nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. Nothing. Even if I try and change the modes, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening at all. The thing is, the beeper is working, which is the ESCs, the lost and found mode switch, that's working. So I know the motors are working. But when I flick the arm switch, the motors don't spin at all. Nothing. I push the throttle up, throttle down. Nothing's happening. I change all the modes. Nothing is happening at all. I flick this switch. I flick all the other switches and nothing's happening at all. Now, if I just show you that it is arming, because when you look carefully at the lights, at the LEDs over here, you can see when I turn it on, it blinks. See, it flashes. It tells you that it's arming. So there it is. So it is arming. Oh, hang on, too fast. There we go. And also too, when I flick through the mode switches, they're coming on too. So I flick the mode, you can see it flicker, and that's working, but the motors will not spin. So this is the problem that I'm having with this quad. I'm not sure what's causing it. I have done everything that I can think of to try and rectify this. As I mentioned before, I tried different receivers. I've tried 3,000 milliamp batteries. I've tried everything, literally. So I am not sure what's going on. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking the only thing that could be causing it is that there is not enough power for the quad to have all those features activated on these batteries. So I don't know 100% whether it's a battery issue, whether there's not enough power. I'm not prepared to plug in and try another battery or a LiPo battery because I don't want to destroy the unit. But yeah, it is definitely something wrong there. And so look, if anyone knows how to resolve this problem, yeah, I'd really appreciate if you come back to me. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and let's hope we get some remedy for this. And not just for me, but for anyone else that's got one of these or any other quad that has this issue. So, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.